Because of you, I believe again. I, the wounded heart. Alina had long ago stopped believing in fairy tales. Her heart, once bright with hope, lay in shards at the bottom of her life's tapestry, each broken promise woven into the threads of her being. She could trace the outline of every scar, the silence that followed whispered I love you, the footsteps that hurried away before sunrise, the afternoons spent nursing tears with cold cups of coffee. Love, she decided, was a luxury she could no longer afford. She moved through her days like a ghost, drifting through her small apartment in Mumbai, the peeling paint of her bedroom walls, the overgrown balcony plants, the faint hum of traffic below. Friends had long stopped asking why she was single, they'd given up on her answering. She didn't even bother to explain herself anymore. 2. A chance encounter. Everything changed on a humid evening in late June. The monsoon had just begun, and the sky rumbled like a sleeping beast. Alina, determined to cling to routine, ventured out for groceries despite the threat of rain. She hurried through narrow lanes, plastic bags swinging at her sides, when a sudden downpour forced her to duck into a small cafe, a place she had never noticed before. The bell over the door jingled softly as she entered. The air was warm and smelled of cardamom chai and old books. She shook rainwater from her umbrella and glanced around, finding only one empty seat, directly across from a man with chestnut hair and kind eyes. He looked up, startled, then offered a gentle smile. Please, have a seat. Alina hesitated for a heartbeat, then sat. She watched as the barista brought her a steaming cup of masala chai. The sweetness felt like a balm on her frayed nerves. The man across from her sipped black coffee and studied her through the window pane, curiosity etched on his face. Finally, he spoke. First time here? She shrugged. First time anything feels welcome. He nodded, as though he understood exactly what that meant. I'm Armin. Alina. They shook hands lightly, and in that touch, Alina felt a spark she hadn't noticed in years. 3. The gentle unfolding. Over the next few weeks, Alina found herself drawn back to the cafe. She would arrive first, settling into the corner seat with her journal, pen in hand but often forgotten. Armin would appear shortly after, and they would talk about everything and nothing, favorite childhood cartoons, the scent of rain on concrete, the thrill of reading a good mystery novel. He never pushed. He simply listened, his gaze soft and patient. When Alina's voice wavered, he didn't step away, he offered a steady presence. When she laughed, something brittle at first, his smile widened, as though he too was rediscovering joy. One evening, drenched by the downpour outside, Alina felt a tremor in her chest. She looked at Armin and realized she wasn't thinking about past hurts. She was fully alive in the present. Can I ask you something? She ventured. Anything. Why do you keep coming back here? She nodded around the cozy cafe. You don't even live in this neighborhood. Armin stirred his coffee thoughtfully. I'm looking for something I can't find anywhere else. She raised an eyebrow. What's that? Someone who isn't afraid to be honest, he said softly. Someone who doesn't cover her scars with a smile she doesn't mean. Alina's breath caught. And you think that's me? I know it is, he replied, without hesitation. 4. Walls begin to crumble. Trust was like a dam inside Alina, strong enough to hold back the tide, but under constant pressure. She was terrified of a leak that could flood her already tumultuous heart. Yet, day by day, Armin's unwavering kindness chipped away at her defenses. They spent mornings wandering through Mumbai's old book market, afternoons perched on a bench by Marine Drive, and evenings cooking together in her tiny kitchen. He taught her how to make shakshuka. She showed him her grandmother's recipe for gajar halwa. In the kitchen, she realized that his hands were steady, his touch considerate. When he held the stirring spoon between them, she felt a gentle promise, I'm not going anywhere. One night, After a storm lit the sky with lightning, Alina opened up in a torrent of words she hadn't voiced in years. "I've been hurt," she confessed while they dried dishes side by side. "I've built these walls because I thought it would keep me safe. But sometimes I think I'm trapped inside them more than the pain is." Armin reached across the sink, took her hands in his. "It did protect you," he said. "But I'm not the pain you need protection from. I want to help you rebuild." She looked at their entwined fingers, and her heart, so long dormant, fluttered with timid hope. The promise in the rain. Weeks later, there was another monsoon evening. The rain fell in torrents, drumming on the cafe's tin roof. Alina and Armin took shelter under the cafe's awning, laughing as they got soaked. "Do you ever worry," Alina asked between laughs, "that this won't last?" He wrapped his arm around her shoulders. "I worry about a lot of things," he admitted. "Job security, family health, whether Pune traffic will ever ease. But I don't worry about us." Her laughter faded into a quiet hush. "Promise me something? Anything. Promise me you'll never leave, no matter what." He looked at her with unwavering calm. "I can't promise I'll never make mistakes. But I promise I will face every storm with you. I promise I'll stay, even when it's hard." Tears mixed with the rain on her cheeks. She pressed her forehead to his. "That's more than I ever dared hope for." 6. Tests of faith. By the end of the year, Armin's career in software development led to a prestigious job offer in Berlin. It was his dream, a chance to lead innovative projects and travel Europe. Alina, now more vibrant than she had been in years, celebrated with him. But amid the excitement, she felt a knot tighten in her chest. One evening, as they sat on her balcony overlooking the riotous city lights, Armin broached the subject. "This is everything I've worked for," he said, voice gentle. "I want you to come with me." Alina's heart lurched. "I can't just leave my job, my family, my life here." He reached for her hand. "We can build something new together. Or if you stay, I'll stay too. Because neither of us deserves a life without the other." The choice terrified her. Yet within it lay a chance to trust again. She remembered how she felt in that cafe, how she'd laughed without fear, how the promise in his eyes had given her courage. "I'll go," she whispered. He pulled her into a tight embrace. "Thank you for trusting me." 7. A new beginning. They left Mumbai behind, its monsoon humidity, crowded streets, and familiar routines, and settled into a quaint apartment in Berlin's Kreuzberg district. The first few months were a whirlwind of immersion: German classes, new colleagues, bicycles instead of scooters. It felt like starting life anew. Alina found work at a publishing house, editing translations of Indian literature for European readers. She discovered joy in bridging cultures, and in her spare time, she and Armin explored cobblestone alleys, Christmas markets, and lakeside picnic spots. He introduced her to new cuisines, kartoffelsalat and bratwurst alongside her beloved samosas. On quiet Sundays, they walked along the Spree River, hands intertwined. She often paused to watch the water flow, marveling at how life, like a river, could change course and still find the sea. One chilly afternoon in December, Armin surprised her with a small, wrapped box. Inside was a delicate silver charm, a tiny book. Engraved on its cover were the words, "Because of you, I believe again." Alina looked up at him, tears shining in her eyes. "I can't believe how far we've come." He smiled, sliding the charm onto her bracelet. "I want you to keep it close. A reminder that love can heal. A reminder that you taught me what it means to hope again." 8. Full circle. Years later, Alina sat in a bright, sunlit office in Berlin, leading a team of editors and translators. Her life was filled with purpose, love, and the steady rhythm of trust. She often thought back to that rainy evening in the little cafe in Mumbai, to the moment she first dared to open her heart. One morning, she opened her journal, a habit she had reclaimed, and began to write a letter to her past self, the girl who believed love was impossible. Dear Alina, you thought you were broken beyond repair. You believed love was a mirage, a cruel joke played by fate. But look at what happened when you lowered your walls, even just a crack. You found someone who held your heart with care, who chose you again and again. That's the magic of love. It's not about perfection, but persistence. It's not about fireworks, but about showing up day after day, storm after storm. And because you took a chance, because you dared to say yes even when afraid, you discovered that love was never lost. It was just waiting for you to believe again. She paused, ran her fingers over the charm on her bracelet, and smiled. The door to her office opened, and Armin appeared, 2 cups of coffee in hand. He held one out to her, and their eyes met, warmth, gratitude, and that familiar promise shining between them. Good morning, he said softly. Good morning, she replied, because in his presence, she had learned that love was indeed real, and that no matter what storms lay ahead, she would never again believe she was alone. Because of you, I believe in love again. Thank you for spending this time with us. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Don't Give Up. Let's continue exploring life's challenges and insights together.